What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'm going to be doing my official 2021 NASCAR Cup Series playoff predictions. Now, this video was really hard to make because I think there were possibly up to 25 drivers that I think that could honestly make this year's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. But today, I will tell you the 16 drivers who I think will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. We'll go into detail about those drivers and then talk about the drivers who will just be on the outside and making the playoffs as well. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first one in the first seed on my list that we're going to talk about is Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, should be no surprise, 2020 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Going in here as a defending champion, you look at the road course and look at all the tracks. He's really strong, especially the short track small. I think that's really going to help Chase Elliott in 2021, and I think he will be an easily make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021, and I think he's arguably a favorite to go back-to-back for the first time in the system. No one in this system, since we started the playoffs back in 2014, no one has ever gone back-to-back with this system. I think that changes this year, and I think Chase Elliott will be a defending champion in 2021, but I also think that Chase Elliott is going to make the playoffs as a number one seed in 2021. The second driver that will make the NASCAR playoffs is going to be Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is going to be very hungry in 2021 to get some redemption after a really strong year in 2020, scoring 9 victories, which is the most of his season, and the most wins a driver has had since Carl Edwards in 2008. Kevin Harvick, though, did not make it to the championship for this past year after getting the Kyle Busch, having a really bad round of 8, and was eliminated from the playoffs. Kevin Harvick is going to be very hungry this year. Harvick's really good, especially with the 550 horsepower package. Yes, there are less 550 horsepower package races, but Harvick's easily going to win races and make the playoffs. And even if he doesn't win a race, he's going to make it down on points. Harvick easily will be in the playoffs in 2021. The third driver that I have making the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs is Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin in 2020 had a fantastic year. I think he scored 7 victories in 2020, won a lot of races, and actually, unlike Kevin Harvick, made the championship four in 2020 at Phoenix, but unfortunately, he just didn't have the car to beat in that race. I think he was the worst of the 4 cars because the Joe Gibbs cars generally were not very fast overall in the race. Hamlin was the slowest, and he didn't really have a fantastic playoffs. But I think Hamlin, you look at a lot of tracks where he's really good at, and I think that's really going to help Denny Hamlin in 2021, and Hamlin will definitely be in the NASCAR playoffs in 2021. The fourth driver that is going to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski had a very great year, and a pretty surprisingly great year as well, because he was teamed up with Jeremy Bullins in 2020 for the first time in his NASCAR Cup Series career. Now, he's worked with Jeremy Bullins in the NASCAR Xfinity Series when he worked with the 22 team, and they both gelled really well and won a lot of races. And a lot of people were really confused why he decided to work with Jeremy Bullins in the NASCAR Cup Series, but they gelled really well together in 2020, scoring 4 victories and actually finishing second in the NASCAR Championship right behind 2020 NASCAR Cup Series champion Chase Elliott. Brad Keselowski easily going to make the playoffs. I think he can win up to 3 or 4 races in 2021. I think Keselowski would definitely have a really good shot at going back to make the Final Four and having a shot to win a championship in 2021. Keselowski easily will make the playoffs in 2021. The fifth driver that is going to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs is going to be Joey Logano. Joey Logano had a pretty good year in 2020. He made the championship four with 3 victories in the 2020 season. Logano's been super fast. You have to look at tracks like Las Vegas, where I think he easily is the favorite to win the Vegas race if we end up going there, if COVID doesn't really affect that race. I think Logano easily wins that, and I think Logano easily could win some other races as well in 2021. Logano, easy. Penske cars are generally fast. He will make the playoffs once again in 2021. The sixth driver that will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman moves over from the number 88 car to the 48 car, which will have full sponsorship for the season, and will have Ally as main sponsorship. Keep this in mind, though. This is still the same 88 organization. It should just, there's a little bit of difference in the car, though. It's just that it's a number change, basically. So this is still the 88 crew, but they're moving over the 48 cars because they didn't really want Kyle Larson to drive his car, and Alex Bowman is a clean-cut driver. That's why he's going to be moving over there. Alex Bowman was really consistent in the second half of the year, and the Hendrick ECR upgrades are generally going to really help Alex Bowman. So that's why I think Alex Bowman will easily make the playoffs 2020. But I think a couple wins are definitely in the cards for Alex Bowman in 2021. The 7th driver that is going to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Mark Truex Jr. Mark Truex Jr., when it was a down year in wins and in other categories as well, Mark Truex Jr. still had a pretty good, consistent year in 2020. He ended up winning a race at Martinsville, the first Martinsville race, the night race in the spring for the first time. They had a Martinsville night race in 2020. And I think Mark Truex Jr. easily could be a contender to win that race. And Truex would be really, really fast here as well. The Joe Gibbs cars are generally super quick. And I think that him and James Small are going to gel once again. I think they're going to improve their relationship as a duo in 2021. But there is a change for Mark Truex Jr., who will have a new spotter in 2021, as to be working with, we'll be working with Clayton Hughes in 2021, as Clayton Hughes will be working with Michael McDowell. He will be working this year with former NASCAR driver Drew Herring. So that's really one of the main, maybe possible concerns you can have for Truex making the playoffs, but I think easily Mark Truex Jr. will make the playoffs in 2021. The 8th driver that I have making the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Kyle Busch. Now, Kyle Busch in 2020 was just not a good year for Kyle Busch. Arguably one of the worst seasons of his NASCAR Cup Series career. It took till the third to last race at Texas, race 34 of the year, to finally win his first race of 2020. And one thing that ended up changing during the offseason is that Kyle Busch no longer is going to be working with Adam Stevens in 2021. He'll be working with Ben Bayshore, who was Harrison Burton's crew chief in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So Kyle Busch will have a new crew chief, but he's also worked with Ben Bayshore in the past in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So they do have a little bit of relationship. If you have a little bit of concern, it is, of course, with the crew chief and the driver pairing. But I think Kyle Busch will be able to get a couple wins this year, especially in the second half of the year as he gets more experience with Ben Bayshore. I think he'll have enough experience, and I think easily Kyle Busch will make the NASCAR playoffs in 2021. The 9th driver that will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in the 2021 season is going to be Kyle Larson. Now, let me just say this about Kyle Larson. Some people were questioning this move in the first place because a lot of people thought, oh, Larson made a major mistake. He didn't deserve a top-tier ride, which I disagreed. Yes, he made a major mistake back in April, and, of course, he's going to have no sponsors this year. But I think Kyle Larson really, really deserves the opportunity, and this is the biggest move of his Cup Series career. People don't realize this, but he is driving not a good Chip Ganassi racing car and almost made the championship 4 times and was a some points championship contender, including in 2017. I think Kyle Larson will be very, very fast. The Hendrick car, especially Hendrick ECR upgrades, if they're like what Chase Elliott had at the championship race last year, man, I think that Larson's going to win a couple races here. I think easily 2 or 3 wins is definitely out of the question. I think some people are going to say 5 or even 5 or 6 wins is going to be what he ends up getting. But I think definitely Kyle Larson will make the playoffs. And the big question, though, is sponsorship, because that's been a really big key. Larson is going to have no sponsors. He's going to be sponsored by HendrickCars.com, which I think no one should be really surprised considering what happened. So we'll have to watch sponsorship, but Kyle Larson, I think definitely will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021. The 10th driver that will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney had kind of an up and down year in 2020. For the first half of the year especially, he was really a second or third place driver most of the year, was up front contending for wins, and especially after Texas, he was really, really fast there, but ended up having some issues late. But after that Texas race where he pretty much dominated, he really did not have a lot of speed, only scored 1 victory in a year at Talladega. Ryan Blaney, I think, while I don't think there is going to be a win that comes before the NASCAR playoffs, I do think that Ryan Blaney will have enough consistency-wise, and I think he will make the playoffs easily in 2021. The Penske cars are really, really fast. I think easily Ryan Blaney is going to make the playoffs in 2021. I think that first win for him 2021 will end up coming at the second Talladega race, the race in the fall. I think that's where he'll get his first win in 2021. He's been good in super speedway races. He may somehow win Daytona 500 for all we know. But I think that Ryan Blaney will win that second Talladega race in the playoffs and advance to the next round playoffs. I think he's going to make it pretty far in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. That's what I think will happen. The 11th driver that will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is a driver that is moving to the number 20 car in 2021, Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell is moving from the 95 car from Levine Family Racing and will be driving the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2021. Now, he has a huge crew chief pickup in 2021. He'll be working with Kyle Busch's former crew chief, Adam Stevens. This guy can teach Christopher Bell a lot. I think Christopher Bell is going to learn a lot in 2021, especially working with Adam Stevens. And I think that Christopher Bell can easily win a couple races in 2021. I think you really need to basically take a lot of those people from the old 20 team and move them out, because I don't think Chris Gale is a fantastic crew chief. So I think overall Christopher Bell will have a pretty good year in 2020. I think he'll easily make it this year, unlike last year, and again, this thing about this as well, in second half year especially, Bell really started picking it up and getting top 10s and top 15s on a consistent basis. And at Texas, he actually ended up finishing third, which was the best finish, especially in Lavine's final opportunity of winning and contending for a win. Bell did really well in those races. I think Chris Bell is a very talented driver, and I think in 2021, he will easily make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Now, the 12th driver that will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch easily going to make the playoffs on speed. Kurt Busch, I don't know if a win will come for the playoffs, but I think Kurt Busch will be very, very consistent. Kurt Busch has generally been always one of the most consistent drivers out on the racetrack. I think top 10s and top 5s and top 10 consistent driver on a week-to-week basis. I think Kurt Busch easily will make the playoffs in 2021. I don't think there should be any concerns. He's working with the same people as well. Kurt Busch should be no trouble. I think easily in 2021. He'll make the playoffs, and I think he'll have a shot again for the round of 8, once again, like he did last year. But I think he'll have to win a race to get to the round of 8. But I think Kurt Busch in 2021 will easily make the playoffs in the 2021 season. Now we get to the more interesting part, because now we have all the drivers that might make it in, or the drivers that I think are going to make it. So let's start off with the 13th driver on my list. The 13th driver that will make the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs is going to be Matt Benedetto. Matt Benedetto made the playoffs last year in 2020, but a lot of people thought he was going to win a race, and he did not win. He came close at times, like at Talladega and Las Vegas in the playoffs, almost ended up winning at the racetracks, and actually the first Vegas race as well. He actually almost ended up winning against Joey Logano in 2020. I think the Benedetto is actually going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's going to actually have a lot more of a consistent year, and I think he'll make the playoffs in 2021. Now, I don't think a win is going to come for the playoffs, but I think he will win that Vegas race in the playoffs, but I think he'll be eliminated for that. I think he'll be eliminated in the round of 16, but I think Matt Benedetto will actually end up making the playoffs once again in 2021, and that will help his opportunity. Maybe he goes to the 2 because Keselowski doesn't return. But I think that he could really help his opportunity go into a car like the 1 car or possibly the 6 car if Ryan Newman or Kurt Busch are to retire. Because if he makes the playoffs this year, I think that really will help his opportunity of getting a pretty decent ride going forward. So a lot of cars that are going to be opened up in 2020, and he will not be returning to Wood Brothers in 2022, as Austin Cindric will be taking over that ride in 2022. The 14th driver that is going to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021. Now, this one is going to be super, super controversial in a sense. This is the only new team that will make the playoffs in 2021, of the new organizations that are coming in, I should say. I think Bubba Wallace makes it into the playoffs. Now, hear me out when I say this. Bubba Wallace is a very, very, very talented driver. And yes, this is a new organization. But you have to think about this as full Toyota backing. Now, let me just say this for 1 second, and so you all understand. Beginning of the year, I think Bubba Wallace, it'll take a little bit of time for them to get up to speed. But there's one race I really look at for when Bubba Wallace could really, really shine before a lot of the other races he can shine, and that is the spring at Martinsville night race. Bubba Wallace's best racetrack is Martinsville. He's had his best runs in his NASCAR career in all of his series. He runs up front many times. He took that 43 car and contended for top 10s at the track, at times top 5s as well, with a not-so-good 43 car. So I think in 2021, I think with the full Toyota backing and with the help from Toyota and working with Mike Wheeler as well, who Mike Wheeler is a fantastic crew chief, I think Bubba Wallace will make it in with 1 win in 2021, and he will become the 14th driver to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021. The 15th driver that will make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021 is going to be Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick had a very, very, very good rookie season. In my opinion, was the best of the 3 really fast rookies. Actually, of the 4 fast rookies, you have to include John or Nemechek as well. Tyler Reddick was really consistent in 2020, was really up front. It was consistent top 10 and top 15 driver, but he just missed the NASCAR playoffs. I think he ended finishing 18th in the 17th or 18th in the standings, which is pretty good for a rookie at the start. I was really impressed to see what Tyler Reddick could do this year in 2020, and he did very well. I think Tyler Reddick will have a shot to win. I think he's going to become more consistent of a top 10 driver. I think a lot of top 5s are definitely going to come out of Tyler Reddick. You also look at Homestead, where he's really good at, and tracks where the Highline will come in like Kansas. I think could where Tyler Reddick could easily win this year. And I think Tyler Reddick will have enough speed to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021. The final driver that is going to make the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2021. Now, this guy is only going to get in because of win. I think that he was kind of falling down in the second half of the 2020 season. He was really good in the middle stretch of the year because of the draws, of course, but he did not end up really having speed in the playoffs. Aric Almirola is going to be the final driver that gets into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Now, this one's going to be a little bit controversial, but I think Aric Almirola will only get in because of a win at Pocono. Remember last time we were at Pocono? He was really fast. I'm not saying Almirola is going to struggle, but he was the worst performing driver at Stewart-Haas Racing in the playoffs. Even Colt Custer was starting to figure out these cars. But I do think that he will win at Pocono and make the playoffs, and that might help him re-sign with Stewart-Haas Racing 2021, but he is also a free agent. And I really think that this year he really needs to start breaking out. I tell you what, if he does not win this year and make the playoffs, I think his career is probably going to be on the chance of being over because, yes, Smithfield likes him, but they're supposed to be having some change in ownership, and a lot of times when there's change of ownership, that can really hurt the opportunity of a driver like Aric Almirola keeping a relationship with Smithfield. Yes, he's been with them for 11 or 12 years, but I think there's a chance that Aric Almirola, could lose that partnership because they even had less races this year. I mean, they cut from 30 to 24, 25 races this year. So this is a make or break year, but I think Aric Almirola will get a win at Pocono, and he will end up making the playoffs in 2021. So now we're going to discuss about all 8 or 9 drivers that are just unfortunately on the outside. The first driver is William Byron. William Byron, to me, was very iffy in 2020. Yes, he did end up scoring a win, but I think also COVID ended up affecting William Byron in 2021. Yes, he is working with the crew chief he's worked with in the past, working with Rudy Fiegel, he worked with in the 2016 NASCAR Truck Series and almost won the championship with Rudy Fiegel. Rudy Fiegel, I think, is a fantastic crew chief, and I think he'll have a shot at winning Daytona, but in all honesty, I don't think Byron will be able to pick it up right away, and I think Byron's still too young and still young, where I think it's going to take him some time to get speed, but I think he's just going to barely be on the cusp of making the playoffs in 2021. The second driver is going to be Chase Briscoe. I think Johnny Kostemeyer is the major reason. I don't think Johnny Kostemeyer is a fantastic rookie. I think Chase Briscoe will have an advantage of being a really strong rookie. But I think with just the depth of the Cup field as well this year, with this being probably the most competitive Cup Series you'll have seen in a long time, I think Briscoe will just end up missing the playoffs in 2020. I think he's just going to be on the cusp of making it this year. The third driver, Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, I think his over-aggressiveness is what's going to, unfortunately, be his downfall. Because I think one of the big issues, I think he has the talent to back up the aggression, but I think sometimes he is way too over-aggressive, and I think that is just going to hurt his opportunity of making the playoffs. I think he's just going to be on the cusp of making the playoffs, unfortunately. This year, he's not going to make it, though. The fourth driver, Colt Custer. Colt Custer only really got in this past year because of a win at Kentucky. Yes, he was pretty consistent in the second half of the year. He started really showing a lot of speed. But I don't think that speed is going to carry fully for Colt Custer in 2021. I don't think Colt Custer will make the playoffs. I just don't feel confident about Colt Custer. Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon's next. We'll talk about him a little bit because Austin Dillon had a very strong playoffs and actually had a pretty good year overall. Austin Dillon, though, would not have made the playoffs if it wasn't for his win at Texas because of COVID-19. He was pretty consistent overall, top 10, top 15s a lot of the year. But I think with the depth of the Cup field, like I said, for Ross Chastain and Chase Briscoe, I just don't think he's going to be able to make the playoffs this year. I think he's just going to miss it. I think all 5 of these guys truly are just going to be on the cusp of making it. I think it's going to be within 15 or 30 points. I think it's going to be within one race of these guys getting in or not. Erik Jones is next. Erik Jones is kind of on the lower totem of the stretch because the Richard Petty Motorsports cars, they have been really competitive. I think he'll make those cars pretty fast, but I don't think Eric Jones is really going to have enough speed to make it with those Rich Pay Motorsports cars unless he wins a super speedway or maybe a short track. I just don't think those Rich Pay Motorsports cars are going to be capable enough of making the playoffs, unfortunately. Daniel Suarez, the other new team that I think could be somewhat competitive, the new team formed by Justin Marks. I just don't feel confident about Daniel Suarez making it. Yes, I think they'll have speed. I think they're playoff contenders, and they do want to be playoff contenders. But like I said, for most people with the depth of the field, I just don't feel confident that Daniel Suarez is going to be making the playoffs this year. And then we'll talk about the other two drivers, that being the rash cars of Chris Buescher and Ryan Newman. Chris Buescher and Ryan Newman, they really went downhill this year, but I still feel confident they could be playoff contenders this year. But I just don't think that they're going to have an opportunity making it. The rash cars just took a step backwards. Maybe they can improve, but I think Ryan Newman's crash really, unfortunately, hurt that team a lot mentally, and it really hurt them overall. And I think that's why I don't think they'll make the playoffs in 2021. So, anyway, this was my birthday special, by the way. So, wish me happy birthday in the comments below, by the way. But, anyway, that is my official 2021 NASCAR Cup Series playoff predictions. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links in the description below for that. And comment your thoughts on this video. How accurate do you think my playoff predictions are? Do you think that some of my predictions will end up not coming true? Or do you think the predictions I have for the playoffs are accurate? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like it so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I would truly, truly appreciate it. I am hoping to release a lot of those driver lineup videos in the next couple weeks. I was really wanting to maybe release it this weekend, but there's certain things that have currently not been announced, like Rickware Racing and some of the smaller teams as well have not announced their plans. Once a lot of those teams announce their plans, a lot of those driver lineup videos will be released. So stick around the channel because some of those videos will be getting released here in hopefully the next 2 to 3 weeks, and those will be released during the weekdays as well. So stick around the channel, turn notifications on so you can be notified when those major videos and projects come out. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.